Hello, this is Kevin Olson from TextLearn.com and welcome to Lesson 7.1b of the Intro to Java series. In this lesson we're going to be talking about method overloads. So we can create multiple methods with the same exact identifier or name so long as their parameters are different. Java will automatically know to go to which method based on the arguments we pass to that method. And this feature is known as overloading the method. And the following example has three different do something methods, and they each do a different thing depending on which values are passed to them. So we're just going to create this do something method, and we're going to pass it an integer, a double, and a string, and it's going to do a different thing in each scenario. So let's open up Eclipse, and let me close out of these guys. New Java project. This is 7.1b. I'll go ahead and create a new class for that just for testing. Give it a main method and we are ready to go. So first we're going to create our do something method. So we're going to do a public static integer do something. So this will be the integer, or actually no, let's make it void for now. Public static void do something. So we're going to do something with an integer I, and all we're going to do is print out that integer and multiply it by 2. So system out print line, I did this with the integer. It's going to do something with the integer, and we're just going to take that integer and multiply it by 2, and we print that out. So now when I go to my main method, let's get rid of that stub, I can call do something and pass it an integer. Let's say pass it the number 10. We run the program and it does something with that integer. It multiplies it by 2 and prints out the result. So I did this with the integer 20. Now let's copy and paste this method and change it from an integer in the parameter to a double. So make it double d instead of integer I. And now I'll say I did this with the double. And we're going to take that double, and this time we're going to divide it by 2. So double divided by 2. Now we will do something with a double. So let's put 10.0 in there. So in the first case, it's doing something with an integer. In the second case, it is doing something with a double. So I did this with the integer. It multiplied it by 2, and we got 20. And when it did the double, it divided by 2.0 and returned the number, or printed out the number 5. And of course the order, you can see I did this in order where we had the integer first and then the double. We don't have to do it that way. We could put the double first if we wanted to. So do something with a double. Let's say we take a double 100 and we run this. So this time it goes to that double method of the do something and does something with the double, then it does something with the integer, then it does something with the double again. And finally, let's have public static void do something, and this time we're going to take a string s as the parameter, and system out print line, I did this with the string. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to print out the first 5 characters of that string. So we're going to have string substring, we're going to call that substring, equals s dot substring. And we're just going to take the first 5 characters of that string with the substring method, and then we will print out that substring. And we'll test that out as well. So let's do something with a string. So do something with a string, hello world. We'll put that in there. And now we run the program, and let's see what it did with the string. I did this with the string, hello. So it took the first 5 characters of our string and printed those out to the console. So that is method overloading, and these methods are considered to be overloaded because they're all called the same exact thing here. Do something, do something, do something, but they all have different parameters and take different arguments. Okay? We can also have them do something and return different types of values. So if we wanted it to return a double in one case, we could have it do that. And if we wanted it to return an integer in another case, we could have it do that. So let's do that now. Let's do public static int and we are going to call it do something again. And we're going to do something with another integer. We could even make it a double if we wanted to, or anything we want in here. So let's make it an integer I. We'll leave it as that. And we'll do the same thing we did last time. We will return the integer multiplied by 2 now. So now when we can do system out println, and we will print out do something, and we're going to pass that an integer with the value of 100. So we're printing out do something 100, and do something returns the integer times 2, so we would expect this to print out the number 200. And that worked properly. Alright, so now let's do something with a double. Public static double do something, and then this time we'll take a double D. Double D, haha. Anyway, let's do return D divided by 2.0. And now we will do something with that double. So system out println do something with 100.0. So now we're passing into double instead of a integer. So now it's going to go to this do something with the double. When we run that now, it divides that double by 2, and it gives us the value of 50.0. Now we can also take integers as parameters if we wanted to. We can add more parameters and whatnot. It will know which one to go to. So let's say we have public static double do something again, but this time we'll take a double D and an integer I. Then we'll return, let's say it still has to return a double. So let's cast that integer into a double and multiple. It'll do that for us. So we can do double result equals D times I, and that'll automatically convert that to a double for us, and then we return that result. But now when I call do something, we don't have anything with just a double as the parameter. We have to have a double and an integer now. So let's say 150. Now when I run this, it's going to print out 5,000 because it multiplied the double 100 by the integer 50, and it returned the result. One thing that we cannot do though is have a double do something with just an integer I, because we already used that up here. So we can't have it return a double based on that integer. So let's say we wanted to multiply that integer by 2 and return the result as a double instead of an integer. We wouldn't be able to do it this way because we already have that do something as an integer I up here. So that is something we cannot do. The final example, let's do a string. So public static string do something, and this time we'll do something with a string s, and we can just return s.substring 0,5. So this will just cut off the 5. So let's change that to do something, and we'll give that a string. Suki is Kevin's dog, and we'll try running this. And it just says Suki and a space after that because it got that 5th character, which was a space. So that is how we can overload methods and make them do more things with different types of parameters there, and return different types of values, different data types. Okay, so review exercise 7.1b. We're going to continue working on the random generator. This time we are going to, in the main method, we'll have it print out 5 random integers just like the last time, but I want you to add a new overloaded method which will also work with doubles. So when we pass the random numbers method a integer, it'll give us a random integer, and when we pass the random numbers a double value, well, 2 double values, it gives us the double value between those two. And we can generate a random double between a minimum and a maximum according to this formula. Double random number equals min plus max minus min multiplied by the random generator, so that's our random object there, and we'll have to create a new random, of course, and we use the next double method. So that's a little different than how the next integer method works with random objects, so just be aware of that. You will have to use this instead of the way you did it in the previous review exercise. And then sample output, all it does again is it prints out the 5 random integers and then 5 random doubles, but we are using an overloaded method. We use the random number method each time when we do the printing out. Okay, so that concludes this lesson. I hope you learned something and take care.